Hi again. It's the first week of August, and what's happening now is all our flowers and our buds are coming out. We're starting to get short on a few things. The worms are keeping the soil alive. We're just starting right now to lack a little bit of nitrogen again, a little bit of calcium, magnesium. So what I basically do is give a dry boost. I usually do it August 1st. It's now August 5th. Just been working like crazy, so I'm off by a few days, but it's not really going to make a difference. You will notice when I show later after my plants, you see them off to the side, they look great, but when I show them closer, especially the ones that are on the table off to the side that don't have the added benefit of going through the bottom of the box and going into this, like the clay soil. That's why I grow in boxes, so I can dictate what they get basically. But they'll also, the roots will go down through the holes in the bottom and grab from the clay that we have. That's why I don't grow in the ground. And they will grab what they need. So these ones are doing better, of course, than the ones that are up to my table, which I'm quite happy about. That way I can show my table and let you see a couple of the yellowing leaves, not as rich green. And basically, this is what I've been doing for years. If you've been watching my other videos, bone meal and oats. So we're going to go 3 cups bone meal. One cup rock dust. Again, I don't know how many times I've said this for the same as me, the Canadian viewers. It's called Volcanic Miracle Plus here. They do not like using the word rock whatsoever. So that's just basically for your trace minerals. They're still in the soil because I've put it in at every step of the way, but what is lacking is up top. Because when you're growing in pots, you're going to notice that roots start running along the top, not like in the ground. When you're sitting there in pots, when the roots hit the bottom and there's nowhere else to go, they're going to come up. That's why I like using these crates that have air holes all through the side. That way, even when they come up, they're not suffocating themselves, they're not killing themselves. Like, yeah, it would be much better to be able to go down. But when you're growing in on top of pure clay, you really don't have a choice. The next is my eggshells. 2 cups of this. If you've watched my other videos, I always say half ground, half crushed. At this stage of the game, there is no crushed. We need a quick boost. So this has been in a Mulinex for close to half an hour. And yeah, it looked like I put in 3, but a lot of them are halves. So this is a fine powder. Starting to breathe that in. Here we have the coffee grounds. But although they're coffee grounds that have been used to take out the acidity, I also, the same as I do my eggshells, they've been baked in an oven for pretty close to 4 hours. And what that does is take out any residual liquid. And that does 2 things. One thing it does is take the liquid out so it doesn't clump. But the other thing is any water that's still sitting in that coffee ground when you put it through, it could still be holding a bit of that acidity, and you don't want that. You want the leftover. So there's your 4 main ingredients. Then what you want to do is this bag, which you've seen me go all year long with. That's just half a cup. And it's an organic, but it really, people seem to get the wrong impression on slow release. What slow release means is it works with the environment. So the more water it gets, the quicker it gets released. Now when you're using a pot garden, you're going to have to continue to water, because it does not hold the water. You built that so the water can run through. You want the drainage. So now all of a sudden you're like, oh no, this stuff was supposed to last me 6 months. It's not going to last you 6 months, because one day without watering is causing everything to dry out. So you got to give this a really good mix. If you don't, when you water it in, because this is only going to be a top dressing, when you mix it in, if it's not very, very well mixed, the coffee grounds will start to clump, and then that will cause almost like a caking effect. So all the water is going to run around the side. So everything's mixed. That rock dust you put in and eggshells is going to give you a very, very easy way for everything to run on through. So each of my boxes have 2 plants in them, and every one of those is going to get a 1/4 cup. So 1 cup is going to feed 2 boxes, half each. All you're doing is going not just around the root base, hopefully this is it. You want to get it all around, because you're not just feeding the roots. You're feeding the beneficial microbes that are in the dirt. That you're also giving the rock dust. You want a protozoa, bacteria, and I'm not digging down because I don't want to harm any of the roots, but what I am doing is just giving it a slight breaking up the top of the soil, so that when they do get watered in, that will start to come down. So that really, in a nutshell, very easy, is my August mixed. You've seen my July mix, you've seen my May mix, you've seen my starter mix. This is what I do to boost up. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to grab the camera and we're going to have a walk around and see my garden. And when we go to my table, you'll start to understand why this is needed for container gardening, even though I have a worm bin in every single one of my boxes. Switch the camera view if I could. Start to see in the light here. So out the front, I've got all the lighter ones, like the cayennes and things like that. But in the back, all across, I've got my butch teas, red marugas, lots of scorpions coming through here. They're quite small right now, because even though these are all in the growth stage, right now they're all just putting out the tiny buds. The colder ones, of course, like the Yahtzees, there's hundreds on each plant. The cayennes, I don't know if you'll be able to see again, but there's, no, that's not going to show up. Many reds shining through. So these, when they do start to produce, are going to very outperform my table. But the problem, well, not the problem, the benefit of doing a table is you have complete control. So you're going to get less pods,
but they're gonna ripen much earlier. I mean, these are my reapers. I've got, just on this one plant alone, probably, even though I've got about 70 pods, but I probably got about a good 20 or 25 that are starting to change on the color. So that's my reapers. Again, I got some ghosts back here. These are the red marugas. Oh yeah, what I wanted to show you originally is why you have to fertilize at this time when in the box. If you look closely at these leaves, they really, even though the whole plant is bushy and looking perfect, anybody would be proud of this. You have to realize with organic, it takes 2-3 weeks to fix. So if I didn't start to fix right now, these light yellowing leaves are going to start to drop. And there's nothing wrong with leaves dropping, let's say September, October. When they start dropping mid-August, the roots and the leaves are what feed in your pods. So you want very, very healthy, very rich green, vibrant plants. These are my Peter peppers. I got quite a few turning red. Not really what I was expecting. I'm sure they taste great and everything, but it's not what I saw as the advertisement. I thought I would grow them as a funny things. There we got some butch teas growing. Again, still in the green stage, but they're pumping out pods much quicker and much faster than my ground garden. But these ones will grow and will catch up because of the fact that the amount of flowers and whatnot they have, instead of getting 40-50 pods per each plant, I'm probably going to be doing anywhere between 60-80. Some of these, especially like the Yahtzees and whatnot, going to be getting hundreds. Back here, this is where I do my picking all the time for eating. All my videos, I just reach down when I'm having dinner and just grab myself a nice Silly Baggio. No heat whatsoever, but gives you a nice dinner pepper. Instead of just going for your standard green or yellow, you grab one of these and you got some great food. I'm gonna walk out front and show you what I've got for Lizard King Death Wish. Those are the plants that I've overwintered year after year. This is their 3rd year out. My tomato plants. I grow my tomato plants in the same my mix. I don't know. I call it magic soil, but it's the same mix I use. These are little cherry tomatoes. Seems to do better on my tomatoes than it does my peppers, but we'll see. Now there's something very funny happening with it. Never happened on the 1st or 2nd year, but we're now in the 3rd year of growing the same plants. I dig them up, I bring them in. These are all ghosts, and you'll see a lot of really nice sized green ones growing on here. We've got red ones for him. These are his. He's going to get every one of those pods. But I have to admit, Lizard King Death Wish, I owe you a couple pods because a few times calves have drove me home and as the lights hit them, they're like, "Oh, what's that?" I say, "They're my ghost peppers." "Oh, can I have one?" So when you come in and grab these, you're going to be able to pick a few out of my back. But this is what I'm saying about the weird thing about this being their third year out here. This right here, they're off this one branch only. They're turning red as they grow. So yes, there are a few half decent sized ghosts on there. But we also have things like this, like as soon as it grows, it starts turning red. And that, for growing for 18 years, I have never, ever seen. But there's still lots of really nice ghosts going on here. But look at the size of this one. I keep showing you that tiny one, but I mean that's a tiny little ghost, and it's turning red as soon as it starts to grow. So that is something that I've never seen before. What you want is the ghosts to grow a nice big size before they start to color, and then that way you've got a nice pod. So I think what I might do is when this little tiny thing is fully ripe, I'm gonna grow it, because it does look a little like a pecan, but I have never grown a pecan. I've never been in an area where other people have grown a pecan, because I grow here in Canada. But if I can take that and seed it and end up with a little tiny ghost pepper that grows year after year after year, little micro ghost, that might be something interesting for an indoor grow. So the rest of his plants, they're just loaded with pods. There's green pods everywhere you look. So again, Lizard King, I'm gonna come out in probably the end of August, unless you don't want the full 100 I promised you. You can come out any day off, and right now you're looking at probably about 30 or 40 right now, but I'd let them grow and see how they go. So again, that's my my August fertilizer mix. If anybody has any questions, please just leave a comment below, and please subscribe. Hope everybody has a great summer. Bye. That little guy is a predator. He is out there looking to find anything he can eat. Sash, come on. What are you doing, dog? He's like you. Anything living, he's gonna go and try to eat. Don't back into my plants. So a lot of people would see that little spider and say, what's he doing? He's grabbing any aphid, he's grabbing any, trying to grab any beetle. A lot of times the beetles will win over. But I did want to add on to the back of that video that when you see things like that, that's the reason why your garden is so green. Because when they start getting attacked, when you have things like that, that's what's gonna go and take care of it. Sasha, in your pool, honey. In your pool. Come on, pool. Good girl. Good girl. If I put her in a pool, she'll leave my plants away. And from this angle, you can start to see those light yellow leaves, which I was talking about. That's why we needed a boost of calcium, nitrogen. I'm going to let that soak in for about a week, and then I'm going to give a really good Epsom salt spray on everything. I never mentioned this before. This little guy's right here, there's 3 of them. That was wind damage, snapped off different leaves, and I just stuck them straight into ground. No root hormone, no nothing. And 2 of them seem just to be folding up and dying, but this one right here has tiny little nodes starting to grow. Sorry, we keep the green tomatoes right here, the ones that fall off the ground, and for some reason Sasha seems to like them. I don't want her to accidentally find a pepper and grab one. But these are starting to send out tiny little nodes. The pods you see and everything, they were pre-windstorm. So it was just an experiment. Thought it's not going to hurt anything. So 2 of them have nothing going, but this one, little pods growing all over. So we'll see by the end of the summer. And if it does come back, that stick that got off, that was a butch tea, that one automatically is going to be overwintered. I'm not going to let something fight all summer long to come back and then let fall hit and die. So, and again for the second time, hope everybody has a good day. And from Canada, welcome to how we do the superHots.